people who own rentals are raising their rent. And one of the, something he said that didn't resonate with me until later. If you have a 30-year fixed mortgage, you automatically have a hedge against raising rents and inflation. And that's a selling point for you to talk to your clients about that may currently be renting and looking at raising rents and so on. But then I had to ask, who are the people that are renting? 20% of 25 to 34-year-olds are living with mom and dad right now. 1 in 5, 25 to 34-year-olds are living with mom and dad. That's high. We have the lowest ratio of first-time home buyers in over 3 decades. Our traditional, going back about 60 to 70 years, is we will have 40% first-time home buyers every year. And this year it's dropped to 33, and we haven't seen that for 30 years. Dr. Yoon made some sense to me. He says that these young people believe that they have to have a 20% down payment because there's been a lot of talk in Congress about raising that. And they don't believe they'll qualify for a loan. And one of the biggest things we can do to benefit them, those people that need the hedge against inflation, those people that need to start building wealth, because when you own a home, you start building wealth, is to educate them about you can get a loan. We can find people to get loans with. Let us help you qualify you. So part of what we do overall, it's important to remember it's not just for our wallet. We have a tremendous responsibility to our society, not only to homeowners, but every economy, recession or depression we've come out of has been built on the backs of housing. We are important people. So every year I look at this book, the 2014 Home Sellers and Buyers Guide. Tells us where buyers and sellers are coming from, what do they need from us, how do we serve them. And some of you should be asking, can I read the book too? The answer is yes, it's on our intranet. You can look in the files and open it up and read all kinds of stats. But I put together a couple of highlights here. This isn't if I'm using the internet to look for the home. This is where I find the home I'm looking at. Because right now it's about 92% of people in the United States use the internet when they do or when they're looking for homes. 43% of the time your client finds the home they're going to purchase before you show it to them. That's a big number. Look at what realtors dropped down to. 33%. Signs used to be at 11%. They've dropped down to 9%. That's because the internet keeps going up. 76% of the time, your home photos influence whether a buyer is going to look at a home or not. And that's because 43% of the time they're seeing it on the internet, and 33% of the time on agent. I'm going to tell you right now, your photographs are one of the most important keys to getting somebody inside the home. And we have a program that's going to address that. 83% of buyers who go on the internet think photos are the most or very important feature of looking at any home on the internet. Are they using mobile? 88% of buyers use an online website. 50% of buyers use mobile search, which is why 3 years ago we came out with our mobile search, because we knew where the technology is going. And think about it. I'm sitting at home watching TV with my iPad, searching the internet while Tracy and I are watching some show. And I'll bet that most of you out there have had similar experiences. Phone, iPad, you don't just go to your computer, that's a mobile search. 65% of 25 to 44-year-olds use mobile, and they want to see pictures. 52% of home buyers use iPhone. I thought that was extraordinary because only about 32% of mobile phones in the United States are iPhones. We'll skip through that a little bit. 27% of home buyers that found their home on the internet found it on a mobile search first. Nearly 1/3 of those who found it on the internet found it on a mobile search first. Does that tell you mobile is important in our society? Okay. Most popular real estate sites. This is according to eBay in December this year. Zillow had 36 million visitors. Trulia, 23 million. Yahoo 20, Realtor.com 18, and Redfin is the next highest one at 6 million. Redfin is a very bizarre, and I'll be glad to tell you about it if you want to know, but they are trying to develop a nationwide MLS, and they may have licenses in some states, and they may not have licenses in others, and they're working in Illinois and all kinds of things. Homes.com is below them, which I found that a little extraordinary because I've heard of Homes.com for a long time. So, given that they're using mobile, do they want an agent? 2001, 69% of buyers used an agent. In 2014, 88% of the time they're using agents. They're using agents because they don't know what to do once they find the house. They don't know how to negotiate, they don't know the process, they don't know where to get a loan. We're still equally as important. So don't worry so much about, I know some of you think Zillow's great, some think Realtor.com's great, Trulia, and all those things are wonderful. But just because they use the internet doesn't mean they don't still need you. We're centered into this. 52% of the time, buyers are referred by a friend, neighbor, or relative, or they used you previously to help them buy a home. Over half the people that you work with already know you. 10% find an agent on the internet. We're looking at homes on the internet. Chris, you okay?
Yeah, sorry, I was trying to do this on the slide. Doctor just called me to meet the office.
Okay.
I texted her. Sorry.
It's okay. Well, our prayers are with you. Don't try to sneak out.
I'll be back at the post office.
Thanks for warning.
He's talking to Marie.
So people are using, I think it's a great idea to have the internet sell your houses and use the MLS and all that. That makes a lot of sense. But if you're spending a lot of time thinking you're going to get a whole bunch of buyers choose you just simply because you're on the internet, not so much according to what we're reading. Now I know that some of you, again, have found good leads from Trulia and Zillow and those things that have these really active websites, and I'm not trying to discourage you. I am going to tell you that if you're going to build your own website and try to get ranked in Wichita, Kansas, under the Zillow, Trulia, Coldwell Banker, Wygant, us, everybody, you're going to have a hard time getting people to find you. Doesn't mean you shouldn't have a website. Don't expect your website to generate, this is a brand new lead. 5% from open house, 5% from agent referral. 67% of buyers use the first agent they interview. Boy, if I'm in an open house, I'm going to try to be the first agent they interview. What about sellers? 60% are referred to by a friend, neighbor, relative, or use that agent to help them buy the home. Think about that number for a minute. How many homes have you sold that you've never been in contact with that seller again? Or they don't need a house for 5 years, so why would you be in contact with them? And yet, nearly 2/3 of the time, they will use you again if you remind them that you're around. 5% from open house, 4% from internet website, 4% from cold call, 3% from referral. 70% of sellers use the first agent they interview, which makes a lot of sense because 60% of the time they already know you. It's very rare that you're going to get a lot of people that are going to interview 2 and 3 agents. Well, I can't tell if you're captivated or you're going, wow, is this right? You're captivated? Thank you, Tim. Tim's away. Most of the time, the buyer and seller already know you and know someone who knows you. If we deliver superior service, giving them more than the next guy does, being responsive to their phone calls and reminding them where we are, they'll probably continue to use us. Personalized contact and constant follow-up, and keeping you in front of more times and you can read the slide, sorry. Okay, so my estimation, and we've taught this for many years, we've tried to teach people how to use cameras, how to use bounce flashes, how to do photo editing, and all kinds of things. And I'm not trying to say these things aren't important, but they are time consuming, they are difficult, and your results are still a little bit imperfect. I'm sorry, but all of us could say that. In fact, I asked Haley one day to do me a chart, which she did. And we found that about 20% of the photos were what we would consider good or superior. And everything else was marginal at best. Okay? Let's take a look at a couple of photos, and then I'm leading up to something. This is a picture of a room. It's a nice room. There's nothing really wrong with it. But that's a better picture. You can see outside the windows. You've got lighting equal everywhere. You can see the nice hardwood floor. Obviously, these were done in the city, a lot of them. It's an okay picture. But with the wide-angle lens, we pick up that there's hardwood floors, there's rugs there, we can see the view out the window. It's beautiful, isn't it? Again, a high-rise. It's okay. Makes the kitchen look kind of small. But now we got a sitting room in there and nice hardwood floors and great lighting. This room, it looks nice enough. It's decorated well. They put some nice little things out. You can see outside the window okay. But with a better photograph, I pick up the hardwood floors. I've got much more equalized lighting, and I can even see there's a second room it opens up into. So, ladies and gentlemen, I bought something. And I'm going to open it up here. What I decided is we needed to come up with a program that would help you take better pictures. This program is a camera that you see on the screen. Those are 9 different photographs from the same tripod position. This camera you are going to be able to check out and use. It ain't entirely free, so don't get your hopes up.
Okay, well, the front one isn't, the front top isn't latched.
This will be stored at the East office.
Front top isn't latched. Don't want it to fall off. Don't want it to sink over.
The camera's set up. This is the bag it comes in. Now, part of the reason I thought of this was after talking to Brenda about a house that you went to look at it with, and the people said, "That's great. Are you hiring a professional photographer to look at it?" What was the listing? $250? $429? Okay. Well, that makes a lot of sense, doesn't it? But you wheel this thing in and pull this out the way we just did, you don't need a professional photographer. The way this works is I open up the little viewfinder on the back.
Lens cap.
Thank you.
Take the lens cap off.
Put on my glasses so I can see what the hell I'm doing. Right? Turn it on. And this little screen pops up in a minute. Yeah. It's saying Exposio one-click kit. And then I can look at this picture that we have in this room. And I push the button. And it's taking those 9 photographs at all those various exposures. And it takes a long time. It does better when people aren't in it because people move, you know, and then they look blurry across it. Now it's done. I pick the camera up, I go to the next room. It's a super wide angle lens. You can zoom it in and out right here. And then you take this whole mess back to Haley in the other office.
Wonder she's going to be full-time.
And Haley takes the little card out that has these 9 pictures on it and puts it into some software that takes those 9 pictures, meshes them all together into one photo, each one the proper exposure for that photo,
Wow.
and you end up with that.
Is that can any one of our cameras work that program, or just that?
No. It will only work with Nikon or Canon, and you either can use this camera or you have to buy some specific hardware that will work with your camera. Joel did because he was impressed with the program and he had a camera. And you've got to have a lens that's wide enough to do what we're doing here. That's why I bought the whole kit.
So if I've got my camera, and I got the wide open lens,
Then you still have to buy another piece of digital equipment that plugs into your camera that goes onto the side. And if you're interested in that, we can do it.
They had those for
The program
Okay?
The Hosen. Oh,
Now follow me on this, because it's not just, I could have done this with my old camera, but then I had to do Photoshop and create layers and know how to get various codes. This thing does it all so quickly. So when you take the camera back to Haley, she's going to log into this Darkroom Pro program. When you check out the camera, I'd like to keep it around 2 hours, just so we don't have people tripping over each other. And if this gets going really, really good, we might buy another one for the west side of town. But let's see how it goes first.
And
Yes?
please
How much
schedule.
is the camera?
This kit is about $1,600.
The camera itself.
You can take as many photos as you want if you're listing. I mean, and I would encourage you to take tons of them. Then Haley's going to take the little disc and she's going to process them with that little software we saw and upload them to your account. When they're uploaded into your account, you're going to go down and say, I want this picture, I want this picture, and I want this picture, and I want this picture. And now is where the cost comes in. When you save a photograph to use, we have a bucket of things that we purchased. It's $1.50 a photograph for every one you save. $1.50 per photograph for every one you save.
You would take 50 photographs, only the ones that you use. Right.
And this isn't something I can control. This is what the company charges us to do this. But if I were to take a picture like we just saw and have a professional photographer go out and shoot pictures with all the lights they need, I want you to think about how much money you're going to spend for a pro. Now, if you don't want to use this, I don't care. That's all right. We'll use it. But I think you'll find, especially on some of your higher-end ones, your photographs sell these. And I would suggest strongly you think about them. Again, it's only the photographs you save. I want to tell you...
Greg, okay, so what would it be? You get 24 photographs in the MLS. So what's 24 times 150? Why don't you give us the number?
$36.
It's pretty cheap.
So $36 for a $429,000 listing.
Professional photographer for an hour is about $150 for that, so this actually saves quite a bit of money.
And let's say you're on the lower end property. Okay, I might not want to do that. Maybe it's a mid-level property. Okay, I'll do 5 photos inside and I'll take the outside photos with my camera. It's no problem. You don't have to, any of them you don't use, you don't pay for. It's only the ones that you actually save. Because that's how the software company that designed all this charges us. So again, I'm not disagreeing that you go, wow, I can do it for free. Yes, and you know, frankly, if it's an empty house without a lot of decorations, don't do it. But if you're looking at a $200,000, $300,000 listing, I'll spend $30 on that. Any questions?
Show them how easy the tripod is to move it around. And
Oh,
yeah.
the tripod has a one button switch thing here. You just roll the little thing and hit it where you want it. But I think most of the time you're going to just kind of get it set and then you're going to pick it up and move to the next room. I can't tell if you guys like it or hate it.
Love it.
You don't have to worry about setting a flash on it or anything like that.
You can't use a flash. It has to be natural light.
Okay.
They suggest you turn on every light in the room.
What about shutting all the blinds? Or you want to leave the blinds?
Leave them wide
So
open.
they get those dark shots.
We used it at the East Office where we have those open windows and you can see out in the parking lot, you can see inside. It takes all of those and meshes them together. And one of the beauty of it is you've been in houses where you're looking at a room, there's a great big white open window at the end and nothing to cover it with. Well, this adjusts for that and makes that white window come down. Okay. Next program I found at NAR, I have 5 people that are going to start playing with it to see if it works. And part of our job is to help you make money. Part of making money is saving money. Deductor is a program that helps you prepare your income taxes every year. It was part of an NAR REACH program, so you'll know what that is. They take startups that they think will be really beneficial to realtors, and they accelerate it and put it through a vetting process, and have realtors play with it, and this is one of their programs. It works with your iPhone or online, or Android. It uses your GPS to track mileage. You can enter your receipts here. It asks you to put an amount of time that you spend with clients in here so you can decide if your client's worthwhile. It will pull information from your bank and tell when a check comes from Realty World that's income. It'll pull information that say when I spend money at Wichita Area Associations, that's a deduction. It does all that for you. It exports all this to your accountant. They want $20 a month for this thing. At NAR, they said they'd do it for $9 a month, and I think I've got them down to the $5 to $7 a month range if we decide to do this. Again, I want some people to experiment with it and see if it works well. So there's 4 people around the room that have logged in and put it on their phone. They're seeing if it works. So I wanted to let you know we're looking at it. I'm not saying we're there yet, but we're looking at it. I have been very unhappy for some time with Lone Wolf and their intranet and their website. I was kind of waiting to see what happened with Better Homes and Gardens before we made a move. But the bottom line became our internet breaks too often. It breaks because they add some feature that changes permissions, and this doesn't work and that doesn't work, and I'm just sick of the whole thing. The bad part is 14 of you in the room have websites through our internet. Now, the good news is currently it's $42 a month for our internet through whatever Brady said. $46 a month for our website through internet. And several of you have intentionally left. Joel uses Website Box, and Lynn Landry uses Website Box, which is a $100 fee, and we'll get to those in a minute. Now, I'm not going to change it tomorrow, Shirley. We'll have
Ron's the one rubbing his head, not me. This does not concern me.
We're going to help those people that have websites with this. How do we copy it and get it to someplace else? And I have some suggestions. But we're going to lose our current internet. We're going to lose our current website because they cost too much and do too little. And while I would like to support you guys that have it there, I hope we can make it easy enough to change it. You'll say, we're better off. Our current YouTube automation breaks all the time. I'm constantly calling them. And I just did a study that found in the last 4 months, we've had 66 of our YouTube videos viewed. It makes no sense to continue to pay for that if nobody's looking at the YouTube videos.
Or is it broken and they can't
You
get it
can
to work?
do your one yourself.
But
You can do your own yourself.
absolutely.
I do my own.
And
I
you
do
can
both.
also use our virtual tour program to do it. But I'm no longer going to have them being pulled from the MLS and put out there because it's not working. And it's ancient technology. So, back to the website. The new MLS that rolls out February has a free IDX link for every real estate agent. Do you know what IDX is? It is not a website, but it is the feed for the listings in the website. That's free. Sites today, because everything's going mobile and because of these free things that are coming up, have dropped in price ridiculously, which is why Website Box, it's a one-time $100 and you're done.
What does it mean by free IDX?
You have a frameable link that you can build a website around. Okay?
It's a search engine.
It's a search engine to look up all the MLS listings, kind of like you do on our website now or your current website, but that's what the IDX is. It stands for Internet Data Exchange between brokers. The website I'm probably going to recommend for most of you will be Superlative, which is right in the middle. I got an email from them now. It's $29.90 a month. There is no setup fee. It includes an integrated IDX. They have lots of great designs, and it's easy to work with. It's got all these things built in it, and you just check it off if you want it. There's lots of others, and I'll be glad to help you come up with it. I would expect to change probably end of January, February-ish, because I want to give everybody time to adjust. But we are moving our website to a WordPress theme. We are moving our intranet back to what we used to have, which is SharePoint services. And as this unfolds, we'll let you know what happens. But our intranet is next to useless right now. The contact management in it is horrid. And very few of you go there for anything more than a few links that I post, and to register for classes if I send you 5 emails telling you you have to register. So, build something that makes a little more sense for all of us and put our money where it belongs. Yes, ma'am.
If we switch over to either one of those companies, do we need to tell them about you, or is that just a standard fee they're charging us?
Website Box is that's what they charge everybody. And as I said, Joel and Lynn know more about them. That $100 fee will get you a website. Then they have another fee if you want lead capture. But they're all, you pay it once, you're done, I believe. There's no monthly ongoing with that, right?
Except from MLS's ID, they charge $32 a quarter.
But that may very well change since we're now having the free idea.
Only MLS in the country that do that.
Probably 20% or so that do that actually.
So Greg, why you're suggesting the second one, the $29 a month? Is that what you're suggesting?
I like the second one because I spent some time with them on the phone. I looked at their back end. It is complete. Does include some mobile stuff, and their designs are very, very good. Very good. It does include some CRM and some drip marketing and things like that. But I have another solution for that in a minute. But I really like the design. I get the impression, while I haven't spent a lot of time with Website Box, they're more limited in their templates, or they just, yeah. See, Superlative probably has 50 or 60 different templates that you can choose from. And they're, one of them looks just like a Windows 8 desktop with the little modules on the side. They're really a pretty company. They haven't been in Wichita before, but I have a little pull with the MLS, so I'm going to bring them here so we'll have the IDX. In case you haven't heard, I'm president of the MLS again next year. We are not going to get rid of Smarter Agent, which is your app on your phone. This is important. This is a big deal. I need you guys to make sure you share it with your buyers because we want them to use it. But we already know they're going there. We just don't want them to use the Zillow one or the Trulia one or whatever. We want them to use ours. So be sure and sell. Sure. Another change we're having, thanks to Haley and DD, we're going to start sending, yes sir?
Realtor.com now offers that same similar package.
They have for about a year and a half.
It's free.
It is free. While it's been a while since I looked at it, the last time I looked at it, even though you can have your name on it, they still had all the agents that paid their advertising upgrades show up big on those, and I wasn't real big on other agents' advertising showing up bigger than us. It may have changed. You guys all know that Realtor.com and Move is now owned by News Corp, who owns the Wall Street Journal and Rupert Murdoch and all that. Yes?
Hey, on that Smarter Agent, if we have clients that are looking up in Manhattan, Kansas City, it will access those, no?
It looks at where our home MLS is. Now, there is a Smarter Agent Direct app that will go everywhere, and those are nationwide type, and then that's under Smarter Agent. But if they enter through our app, it will stay in our MLS.
What if you have your, like I've got my own, will it pull, my daughter-in-law was pulling up 7 Arkansas.
I'm not sure.
And now I'm wondering if I can pull up Manhattan.
I know on our white label version, I've tried it when I've been in Chicago and other cities, where it says, I'm sorry, you don't belong here. But it's possible it might, and it's possible at the time I was doing that, I was also clicking Find Nearest Listings, and it may be that function was having a problem. We're going to start sending letters to people that have just listed their houses, letters to people that have gone pending. We're going to reference you as the agent naturally. Well, thank Haley and Dee Dee. It was their doing this. We're also going to go start back sending our thank you letter notes to co-op agents. And we're going to include in those thank you cards the $25 gift certificate to Larkspur that I'm putting the bill on that for. So when you co-op with somebody else, we're sending a note that says thank you for working with Denise on this address. A token of our appreciation. Here's a little thank you to go eat lunch. Yes, sir.
Nobody hit my call again with
You come to me when you co-op with Tulio. I'll bring him down here to lunch. How's that? we're doing that, you know, partly it's a recruiting thing to co-op agents, partly it is we want them to know that we appreciate them working with you. Now then, having said that, if you've worked with somebody that you think is a complete jerk and you don't want them to get squat, please tell us also, if you don't tell us where your clients live, we can't send them a thank you letter. That would be on like your pendings and on your listings
If you
where their
have a-
name is scribbled on the last page.
Well, and if you have a buyer,
Well, but even on the listings,
Right.
but they only sign, we don't know who to send it to. So we're probably going to start asking you to put a little cover page. And if you don't have a cover page, you don't get the letter, okay? And we're not
Or-
trying to be mean, but
or
we got to know
whenever
how
you
to reach.
create the listing in paperless pipeline, just put in their information where it asks for it.
Right.
Under the optional information, there's spots to put
Oh, we
everything.
can put it in there.
No, yes, but not everybody does.
Yeah.
So,
I figured I'd get a notice press like that.
okay, which brings me to my next to the last topic, or the last topic before we go to awards. When we did the Richard Robin class, we found out that a lot of people didn't have contact management. Or some people had Excel spreadsheets, or some people had card files or stuff like that. And one of the commands I was given, in fact, I believe it was this young lady who, when I said I'm going to NAR, she said, find out about contact management, I need one really bad. So there was a class there, or a presentation called Battle of Contact Managers. And I sat through a lot of them. Some of them traditional. Realtor.com has Tiger Leads. Some of them are top producers. Some of them works on mobile phones only and it's free. Some of them were you got to buy corporate and it's $800 and it's $70 per person who wants to sign and so on and so forth. And we couldn't get there. I also have a problem as a company because if I get something for you and give it to you and you never use it, I still got to pay for it. So we had to strike a balance from what works, what doesn't work, will you use it, you want to pay for part of it, and so on. Hence comes this company named Contactually. Startup company, been around since 2012, was featured with Inman last year. Works on your mobile phones, works on your laptop, works on Apple, works on DOS,
Works with Android.
works with Facebook, works with Twitter, works with LinkedIn, works with your email, works on your phone, Android or iPad, or Android or iPhone, and iPad. So let me describe what I've been trying this for the last 2 weeks. I haven't even gotten to your marketing. Every time I place a phone call, this picks up the phone call, date, time, who it was from, and how long I was on the phone. Every text message I send, it records and puts into my contact manager under that person's name. If I chat with them on Facebook, it goes into the contact manager and goes under their name. So every form of communication, it pulls all of my emails to and from. It tells me if I called out, called in, email sent in, sent out, and puts them all in one place. Everything I do on my desktop, I can do on this phone. Everything. This is what the dashboard looks like when you log in. And it's a little bit difficult to see, but I have people, this isn't my dashboard, this is a demo one. There are people placed in buckets. If you're in this bucket, you need contact every 30 days. If you're in this contact, you need every 15 days. This one every 40 days. And every form of communication that I can do electronically, it records it and says that's a form of communication with that person. It tells me these people need to be followed up with. Some of them are red or blue. And the upper right-hand corner is a grading system to tell me how I'm doing and marking it against other people. It has a pipeline. It tells you what deals you're getting ready to do, what your next action is, how you're supposed to get there. This page is my contact list. I can search by name, first name, last name. I can search by who I've contacted the most recently. So at the top you say I talked to this person at 10:40, and on the side it's got their pictures if I've connected with them with Facebook and the other thing. This becomes an all-encompassing for everything. So if I email from home, my phone, from within this, it still records it all. It's the most beautiful program I've ever seen in this digital electronic age. These are the gold buckets. You can have as many buckets you want, and you can have people in more than one bucket. And once you place them in a bucket, you can move them around and change them. The thing is, it's all designed for you to decide what the buckets are. You don't have to stay with what Greg thinks the bucket is. If you have new leads, you design a program. How often do I want to call them? How often do I want to have drip email? They showed me a feature yesterday I hadn't even thought of. You know your favorite bar on your URL? You're scrolling through something, you see an article you like, you one-click that, and it says, who do you want to send this article to? And you send it to everybody in your bucket. One shot. This is what a contact looks like. It's got all of their information collected from everywhere in one place. It's got when I called them last, when I met them for coffee, did I have interaction, notes, email in, email out, phone call, text messages, and it's not just I did it. You click on it, you see the entire email, the entire text message conversation.
Even if you delete the email off your email thing, it is still there.
All right.
For how long?
We have lots of questions. Dee Dee? I'm sorry, what? Yes, because you can share buckets. So we're going to have one recruiting bucket that all of us managers talk together. If you have a team and you want to share a bucket, you can share it with your team member.
Is it set up to import a database if you already have it?
Yes.
How about off your calendar?
It does merge into a calendar. It likes Google Calendar and ICS or iOS better. So it will merge your calendar and pop up and tell you when your next task is on your Google Calendar.
Like bad emails, you get it back.
I'm sorry, what was the question, Becky? It does not do hard mail.
Can we do notes? Like, put a note into everybody's bucket?
Absolutely. In fact, there's an area on my phone when I pull it up and it said, I just made this phone call and said, would you like to make a note on that phone call? I can click note and just speak into it and it'll write out what we just talked about a contract with this date, time, so on.
Wow.
Well, they record that in.
Yep. It's a full sync. It's not just a push or a pull. It's a full sync.
Another question, can I print labels out of it?
No. And the reason you can't is because more and more snail mail is going away, which you can tell by the post office. But Haley is Microsoft Office certified. You're welcome. Which means if you can put this in a CSV file, she can help you print labels. And folks, this is extremely easy to export. No problem.
What kind of history? How does it keep it?
So is there any way to tell it do not record this, their email, text, phone call, whatever?
Yeah.
You can tell it do not.
Why would you not want it to record it?
I just.
It doesn't, now let me be clear. It does not physically record the conversation. Hang on. It does not physically record your conversation. It makes a note that you had a phone call with this person at this time for how long it does. It's not a audio recording device. But yeah, you can turn anybody off from these. Okay?
Greg, how does it keep it?
Hmm?
What's the history? How does it keep it?
Until you delete it?
Is it true? Is that
Yes. Yes, it does do email blasts. It does do drip emails. You have to set them up, but it can be done, and it is done very easily. You can make them very designer friendly, or you can make them very HTML. I swear, I've been using this now for 2 weeks, and it's funny when I go back and say, well, I text this person a lot, but I never talk to them, and this person I email a lot, but I never talk to them. And all of you guys are now in here. The way it, and
So you'll be able to tell he never talks to us.
I'm sorry, what? Oh, yes, you get to do, I mean, when I say this program, you can say this is what I want for buyers, this is what I want for sellers, this is what I want for my church people, this is what I want for my family. You can put them all in a program. Yeah, Christy?
On the email blast, how is it going to be recognized into our clients' emails? Is it going to be spam?
It actually sends out of our or your email address. It does not use its own. It sends it back through our email servers.
What kind of program
Absolutely.
For people that don't have email.
Sure.
Make sure they give you our call.
Okay. And one other thing. This also already is set up to collect and put into your buckets leads directly from Zillow, Trulia, Realtor.com, Homes.com, and our new website, IDX. So when a lead comes in and it gets distributed out, it goes right into here for you.
Can you put your own personal website into that?
Absolutely. Now, there is a question about whether it would automatically go there because they have to set up some email stuff. So it depends on what your website is. This is voluntary, meaning I ain't paying for everybody. Sorry. This is normally $40 a month. I've got them down to $28 a month for our company.
I'm in.
Yeah, me too.
Are you gonna get training on it, or
I'm sorry, what?
are you gonna do any training?
Absolutely.
Yeah, if you could do a training before we decide, that would be awesome.
Well, here's the deal. Oh, also, they're raising their prices next year, but I'm signing a 2-year contract, so we'll be down here. I have to pay them to train us, and I'm going to pay them to train me and Brady and Haley and Chris and Dee Dee. We're going to be your primary trainers. Then they're going to do 2 webinars for all of you to get, or whoever wants to be in, to get started. And then you'll be coming to us for the more advanced things as we go along. But I'm telling you guys, I've looked at so many CRMs. I've looked at Wise Agent. I've looked at Realty Juggler. I've looked at Top Producer. You start looking at prices, features, and do I collect information from everybody? They don't. They forget that Facebook exists, and that is a form of communication with your client. So, that's my big CRM, and it's the best I could find.
Thank you.
I'll try to set up an informational webinar with him to go through some things so that you all can come. I don't, when we get to these programs where I got to ask you guys to pay money, I really get eager because I'd like to give everything for free. But I hate to spend a lot of money for somebody who'll never touch it. So we have to find a way to do it. I hope you come. I hope you learn about it. I hope you're as excited as I am. If you want to see how it works on my phone, on my computer, stop by and show me. Or ask me. I'll be glad to show it to you. I know one of the things, Joel's kind of become my test because he's techier than I am in some things. And he walked by my computer and he says, "That's contactless." I said, "Yeah." He says, "That's to talk around all these water coolers and things. Have you got a copy? Can I look at it?" I mean, he was getting kind of pumped. And that means a lot to me that he thinks that. Yes, ma'am.
I made my opinion. Because it's been going on for a while now. If we want it like tomorrow, can we have it tomorrow, or do we have to wait until we set up then?
To get the discount I'm giving you, probably the middle of next year. If you want to sign up on your own, you're going to be $40 a month. But I want to make sure that we're ready to get you started on the right foot. I could pay them more to train everybody, but it'd be like $2,500. And I thought, Dee Dee and Haley are pretty smart. We'll let them train. So I hope I delivered on my request to find you a CMR that I thought would
Yes, you did.
fit the needs. Okay.
Good news, that's less than I pay Top Producer right now.
Absolutely, it's less than you pay Top Producer. And with Top Producer, you get this portion, but if you want that portion, you got to pay extra. This portion, yeah. I really like this all-in-one thing. So having said that, let's talk about awards. Brady? Santa? Yes, sir?
This program is for photos. Photos.
It brings in the photos that they have from their Facebook page. So if you connected with them on Facebook, that's how you get the picture in there. I believe you can upload it independently if you want, but I'm still kind of learning this stuff. So every year, about 3 years ago, we noticed that some people in our company had doubled their production. And we thought that was unusual. And we've kept going with the Double Up Awards. So, this year, The first one goes to Pam Ball.
Yes.
Pam did 105%. Did they think only 5% more? No. She did 105.
Take a picture of that.
No, down back.
It's long.
You got it.
Well, thank you. Pam.
Thank you, everyone.
Joel, 115%. Marie Gregor, 124%. Jessica Gilmore. Pam Anderson. You know, it's always nice when somebody from Wygang comes over and does a little better. Isn't
You have to remind me what I did.
it? Lynn Landrin, 500. Well, Lynn has a little advantage because Mr. Gerbic used to take all her credit, but we still want to be recognized. And Sherry Proctor. Wow. I think that means commercial business isn't as lucrative as it used to be, and she used to come over. And this is an important award to me, guys, because
And me too.
well, for all of you, let's have a hand for all the double. I rarely like to do this person sold the most, that person sold the least, all that. What I do like to do is recognize you when you have done something spectacular in your business, that you've grown, whatever your levels are. Having said that, the next award is called the Greg Award. Now, this is going to go back into the highest number, but there's a reason for this. My last year of actively selling, I had 33 transactions. That's the highest number of transactions I had in a year. Now, granted, they were all new homes and they were averaging about $280,000 each. So that was a good year for me, and I used to make money. Really, honey, I used to make money. But I decided this year that we should recognize those people in the company who have had more transactions this year than I had my last year. Hence, the Greg's Award. So first is Brenda, who had to leave, but she had 36 transactions. Judy Bias had 41. Thank you, Santa. Christy McCormick.
This is my good job. Thank you.
Joel. Joel nearly doubled what I did my last year. Isn't that incredible? And I have, I wish I could take credit. I have great pride, but I can't take credit. Those last three names there all came to us from other companies where they weren't doing this well. Guys, I really appreciate you being here. Thank you. Okay, the last two awards. Every year, for the last 5 or 6 years, we award the Customer Service Award to the person who had the cheapest sell. Now, the reason that's important is because you took the time to help somebody in their home needs, regardless of what their walk of life is. And that means a lot to me, and we take care of people. We did have to weed a little bit this year because we had some investors that were buying pretty dilapidated property, so we had to remove some of those. We think we found the person who sold the cheapest house to someone who actually lived there. It was $9,500. Christy McCormick.
Page number 44.
Got two more? Oh, that's right. We have one more award because traditionally we've not been a high dollar property. We tend to take care of the middleman, the guy that needs a house every day. This year we had someone who went above and beyond and sold probably the most expensive house she sold in her life. Certainly when she came to this company, she was not doing as well with her former company as this one. And I'm very, very pleased to tell you that Margaret sold a house. I want to grow up to be you.
I grew up to afford one of those for myself.
That was a happy time.
Brady informs me we have two more awards that I don't have up here, so.
Yeah. Free for me.
So, you guys both know Haley and Dee Dee now. Hopefully, you guys have all had a chance to meet Westies, meet Haley, and Easties, meet Dee Dee. I have realized that I'm actually going home on time. And I'm not staying up really late doing files and accounting stuff. And I know Haley has been a huge help for me, and I know Dee Dee has been a huge help for Chris. So these are for you guys.
So I want to thank you guys again for one more good year, for putting faith in us and staying with us and living through our trials and tribulations. And I hope to see all of you back here again next year for a similar thing. Yes,
I
John?
have an announcement. We need
You're not
the
pregnant,
best
John.
broker in the city.
Thank you, guys. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas.
Seriously, on the desk.
Yes, exactly. You have a little right next to the
Was there last
Hey, I need one more thing. We got a bunch of toys up here. We got to get to the Wichita Area Association. If I could get a couple of you with maybe some more room in your car than my little car to help move them.
They won't fit in your car?
I know, hard to play.
Okay.
some reason, I still love that everybody's watching their friends and family. This was a better fit for us. As I was looking through the timing, it's like, we are in Brenda and another agent who's no longer here.
Then put it in Joel's in.